Some of you are saying right now, some of you saying, Pastor, hold on, I don't get it. You don't understand, Pastor. I've tried that before, and she just gets worse. I know your little game. I know your arguments. Here we go. Let's talk about something. I'm going to show you a principle tonight that this don't only work in families and don't work with husband and wife. It works in every area where you have a conflict. Watch this. Some of you saying to me, Pastor, you don't understand. You don't understand who she is. Okay. All right. When you got a plant, if the plant starts to die, right? Plant starts to die, stuff starts falling off, plant starts to die. What you don't do is you don't say this. I said grow. You don't do that. You don't say to the plant, it's your mama's fault. You don't say to the plant, what's wrong with you? Why you can't just be like me, smart? That's not what you say to the plant. If you want to help the plant, you don't cut it down. If you want to help the plant, you ask this question. What does the plant need to start growing again? Now listen, what you can't do is say, plant, grow. It's like having a car and the car's out of gas. You can't say to the car, get some gas. The reason the car don't have gas is because it ran out. The reason it's ran out is because it has no gas. It's not going nowhere. You can't tell the thing that doesn't have it to all of a sudden get it. Listen to me, please, man. I promise you it's going to make sense. So here's what you got to do. You got to say to yourself, self, listen, I got to bring something to the plant. Because let's say it's you're trying to, let's go here. Let's say you're trying to lose weight. It's all right. We love Jesus, and whether you have more to love or not, don't get offended. Say you're trying to lose weight. I can say all the time, which people say to me all the time, here's what you got to do. Just get more discipline, right? Just get more discipline. If you get more discipline, you got there. Well, first of all, the reason I got to the situation I'm in right now, where my belly is big, is because I don't have the discipline. So you can't say, thou who has no discipline, get discipline. That makes no sense. What you got to do instead is bring something to the person that will help. That's why you have nutrients. So now when the plant's not growing, you want to provide some nutrients to the soil to create the environment so it starts growing again. Please listen to me when you say you love your wife. Here it is. You got to figure out what do they need and how can I help them get there. So your job is to provide nutrients to the system. So in my illustration with the person with me that needs to do what. So what I need is my buddy who has the discipline to call me on Mondays and say, I always go. So I'm coming to pick you up and go. Here's what you've just done. You've brought some assistance to me in the area where I'm weak. On Tuesday, bring another buddy who loves to work. Bring him too. On Wednesday, bring the first one back. Thursday, bring the other one back. Well, here's what you just did. You brought help to me. You're not forcing me. You're now facilitating growth. Your job, man, is to figure out, you can always find flaws in everybody. You got some too. But your job, it is to love her. How do you do that? You love her by figuring out what that issue is that she needs to work through that tees you off, and then not complaining about it. But if you're going to be her sanctifier, her healer, or the one who creates wholeness, then you've got to bring nutrients to her so that she can move in the direction that God desires her to be in. Oh, that makes sense. Y'all don't have to believe me. That makes sense. Here we go. I cannot believe I'm at 2B, but that's where we are. Number 2, nourish your wife. I'm going to get in trouble right here. Nourish your wife means 2 words I want you to fill in there: physically and spiritually. Nourish her. The word nourish, every time it's used in the word except twice, it's used for, the imagery is somebody taking care of somebody else. Somebody providing food, somebody providing feeding to take care of. It's a mother hen who takes care of her kids. Gentlemen, the text suggests your job it is to nourish. Let me explain what that means. That means physically, men, It's your responsibility to provide for that household. So you cannot send your wife out to go work and you at home playing video games. That's utter foolishness. That's not biblical. You got to go make sure you providing. Can I get a witness, somebody? I know that's going to offend somebody. I know. But God bless you. It's in the Bible. Your job, not hers. Your job, sir, to create the environment where she don't have to worry about that. Spiritually, your job, gentlemen, to take her to the Word. Your job, gentlemen, to make sure she is in the Word. That's your job to disciple her. Nobody else's. It's not my job. It's your job. And so if you're not in the Word yourself, you're not modeling that she needs to be there too. Y'all all right so far? I'm trying to help somebody today. Let's move on. Cherish. The idea behind cherish is the imagery is to keep warm. It's like every now and again, I've got this electric blanket. And what I do is, well, Jada usually does it. She flips it on right before I get to bed. What she's doing is she knows it's going to be cold. She knows it's going to be, and so she wants to make sure when I get there, it's toasty. No, we have to get two. Because I need about 80 degrees. She needed about 50. So I have to get two. But she wants to make sure that I want. Here's what the word means. It means you are so committed to her, you want to make sure, please listen to me, that whatever need she has, you're ready to meet it. To make sure that she feels not only a sense of safety, but a sense of warmth. You got to do that two ways. Listen. You got to do it verbally by being gentle. Because, some of y'all ladies not going to like this, 1 Peter chapter 3 calls her the weaker vessel. And if she don't like the idea of a weaker vessel, it's because she got drama in her life. And that's what you need to do. You're there to make sure that you create wholeness where she has gone off. Because if she doesn't believe she's the weaker vessel, she's gone off. It's all right, get mad. Spiritually, here we go. You have to fuel her walk with God. Here's what that means. That means you have to figure out, what does God want to do in her life, and how does he want her to serve, and you ought to be her number one fan in that area. You ought to be the one that says, oh, no, girl, it's not just about me. I need you to figure out what God wants you to do, and I'm going to fan that flame because I want you to be all that God. Your job is to bring her to full maturity. Not to just say, well, just help me, but to bring her to full maturity as well. All right, that's just the background. Come on now, let's get to these needs, which is what you really want to hear. Here we go. Ooh-wee. Number one, I'm going to give you 5 real quickly. Let me give you all of them, and then let me go over them real quick. Number 1 is that she has a need for love, and you ought to love her. Number 2, she has a need for emotional engagement, and you ought to emotionally be engaged. Number 3, she has a need for you to honor her, and you have to honor her. Number 4, she has a need for you to be a conversational companion. Yeah, we right there. We're going to hang out there. And then number 5 is, she has a need for you to lead her. Let's jump in. I'm going to spend most of my time on 2, 3, and 4. Number 1 is, she has, and the basis of all of this now, it comes out of this Ephesians 5 and 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Listen. Number 1 says, she has a need for you to love her. Gentlemen, listen to me, please. I promise you, every woman gets up and asks this question. And if she don't, she got issues. Here's the question she asks. She asks, every last one asks this question. Am I beautiful enough? They don't ask it out loud. That's why they go in the mirror, as often as I do. Because they ask the question, am I beautiful enough? Hey, does this person truly love me? Does my husband truly, is it all about me? Is he willing to really sacrifice for me? Is he really willing to sanctify me? Is he really willing to be my savior? Is he really willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that I become whole, that I move toward full maturity? Is he really all in for me? Let's go to number 2. That's all I want to say about that. Number 2. Woo! Emotionally engaged. Let's talk about it. Ladies, just say amen. That's your only assignment right now. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Here's what it says. You husbands, in the same way, live with your wives in a, say it with me, understanding way, as with someone weaker. Since she's a woman, and show her, say it with me, honor. As a fellow, she's not less than you all. She's not less than you are. She's equal. As a fellow heir of the grace of life. Here we go. Why? So that, read that part with me. Okay, good. Here we go. Emotionally engaged. Gentlemen, the text says to nourish, to feed, to cherish, to keep warm. Both of them come together. It is your responsibility, gentlemen, to make sure that you are knowing this woman. You don't let her have to tell you stuff because you and I are lazy. It's our job to know her and even to strive to know her better than she knows herself. Listen to me, please. Emotionally engage. Say those 2 words, just a man. Emotionally. No, gentlemen, you're not saying it like you mean it. Say it again. Emotionally. Good. All right. My wife and I went to this deal. It was brutal, y'all. We went last summer. We went to this it's called the Hideaway Experience, all right? It's called the Hideaway Experience. Great time, but it was brutal. 2 counselors, 5 days, all day for 5 days, just looking at you and telling you how crazy you are, all right? So we went there just as a marriage retreat. Beautiful backdrop, great experience. Met some of our friends that'll be friends forever because of it. Great time. There's some stuff I didn't know about my wife. I just did not know it about her. I was so checked out, I didn't realize some stuff about her. For example, here's one. I got permission. Oh, you better believe I get permission for today's talk. Everything I said today, I got permission for. Here we go. Here's one. She's a firstborn. And so for my wife, she always feels a burden of responsibility because she's always been a firstborn. And so she just feels like I got to be there because if I'm not, listen, I'm going to get in trouble. I couldn't believe it. I did not know it. That's how she felt. And she had to tell me that. I'm like, you do? I said, but I got it. She looked at me just like this. Let me translate. You know how much stuff you don't got? Why? Because I was here's sweetness to her ears. Sweetie, what are you thinking about lately? What's on your heart? What am I missing? What am I not getting you? What do you wish I knew a little bit more about you? How can I understand you a little better? Sweetie, can you tell? I'm just telling you, gentlemen. By the way, gentlemen, if I were you, I'd just be writing right now. Even if you're not writing nothing, just look like you're typing or something. Just look like you're getting it. Come on. Here we go. Come on. Here we go. Emotion. I'm just asking questions to be emotionally engaged, right? Right. Sweetie, what do you wish I knew about you? Sweetie, what are you afraid to tell me? Because you think if you told me, I might use it against you. Sweetie, do you feel safe, like we can just dialogue? Do you really? Seriously, help me out. No, gentlemen, remember I tell you now, you can only ask one of them questions. Don't ask a whole lot. I'm just telling you. You only have time for one. You can try more than one if you want. I'm just trying to tell you. Come on. The way you do that is you study her. You got to know her. You've got to know her. And don't assume that you do. Don't simply say, I know what she's always done. You got to figure. You've got to say, sweetie, help me out. Am I reading this right or am I wrong? Let's move on. Next one, you got to honor her. No, gentlemen, I do need, this is where I'm going to spend most time, then I'm done. I promise you, gentlemen, I'm just telling you, gentlemen, I'm telling you, do not miss this. It's the best illustration I've ever heard about this, the point I'm going to bring. Your job is to honor her. Your wife needs to be significant. She needs to feel significant. She gets up every morning. She needs to feel like she's beautiful. She needs to feel like she's significant. She needs to feel like she has purpose. All right. Gentlemen, listen to me, please. Gentlemen, every single time. Every time you look at another woman, every time you have shattered her. Don't minimize it, and don't dare say, "Well, I'm a man." Gentlemen, you got to train yourself to not look. You just got to. I'm not saying it's easy. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying it's easy. But I am saying, you got to train yourself. Watch me. Because she looks in this thing every single day. And she asks herself, how do I really look? And she's evaluating that based on how you feel about her or her assumption of it. So let me show you what happens. Gentlemen, I'm just telling you. Every time you look, this is what happens. Every time you look, every time you go, listen, I learned this, I promise you, I learned this one the hard way. Whenever you share more of your feelings with another person, I don't care who it is, than you do with her. That's what it looks like. That right there is what she now starts looking in the mirror to see. It's no longer a nice image. It's now a fragmented one. And oftentimes, it's because we're not honoring them. And remember, the Bible says she is the weaker vessel. Listen. So, gentlemen, I'm begging you, do whatever you need to do, but do not. This one hurts me. Especially in her presence. Hey, sweetie. Don't laugh. Don't just don't say nothing, gentlemen. At this point right now, you just don't say nothing. Don't laugh, don't clap, don't do nothing. All right? You walking, and in front of her, you know what you're saying to her? You are so nothing that I wish I had some. No, that's not what you're saying, gentlemen, but that's how she's feeling. Share your emotions with somebody. I promise you now, but I'm just trying to help. Somebody asked me, Pastor, how you know so much? Because I've done some stupid things and made some mistakes too. And somebody else had to teach me. Can I get a witness, somebody? So all I'm saying is, remember this. Every time you look, every time you go to the internet, every time you say, well, don't look at my phone. What you trying to look at my phone for? Leave me alone. Don't look at my face. What you want my Facebook password for? What you want? Every time. Did I mess somebody up a while ago? I'm sorry. I just thought this is what normal people do. That's how it's looking, gentlemen. That's how. Ladies, am I lying to you? No. Don't say nothing else, ladies. That's it. Just stay right there. I'm trying to help somebody. That's all I'm trying to do. Next one. Woo. Conversational. Woo. Companionship. Gentlemen, why they didn't teach us this? Can they teach us? Listen, if you have a son, teach him this early, please. Because it's just some hard stuff, man. Conversational companionship. Here we go. Here's all it is. This is the best way for me to explain this, then we'll move on. Your job, gentlemen, is to get from facts to feelings. That's your job. Do not say that, listen. Here's the best illustration of it. To the degree. I'm looking for kids. We good? Okay. To the degree, gentlemen, that you crave intimacy. To that degree, she craves connection. So every time, you crave. I'm messing you up right now. I know I am. Every time you crave intimacy, just remember, it's a trigger. She equally as much craves connection. I promise you. So what she wants from you is conversational connection with no agenda. So don't come home talking about, okay, if I start at 6, around about 8:30 or 9, get a sitter, we should be good. No agenda. No agenda. And don't be awkward. Don't be, oh no, sweetie, I don't need none. I don't need none. Just keep talking, sweetie. Just keep talking. Come on, let's go. Lord, help us tomorrow. Lord, help us tomorrow. We ain't even having praise and worship tomorrow. We're just going to go straight to the passage. Last one. Lead her. Last one's lead her. Lead her spiritually. Lead her spiritually. Here's all it means. Gentlemen. Nobody has that responsibility but you. Your job, sir, is to make sure that there's always, the two are always one, and that you're always connected. The only way to do that, she's not wrong. She needs your connection. The only way to do that is to maintain short accounts. Maintain small. As soon as something goes wrong, do not allow anything in that radioactive stuff. Don't allow it. You lead spiritually. Here's why. Last part of 1 Peter chapter 3. Save your worship, your praise, your prayers. Save it all. In this culture, we think it's fine. I'm telling you, biblically, you're wasting your time. Your job is to keep short accounts with your spouse. Keep short accounts. Say that with me. Keep short accounts with your spouse. Do you know the reason we do communion the way, you know why we do it every week? So you can keep short accounts. So that if there's anything, you bring condemnation on yourself. You tell God, I don't respect you. I don't care what you say. I don't care about your word. I can still drink the juice and eat bread unworthily. That's why we do it. So that as a family, church family, we'll keep short accounts. You be the first to say, sweetie, my bad. Will you forgive me? There's a big debate the last couple days about a Texas Ranger player. He decided to go get a tattoo on his arm of his dad. And because he went, he missed a game in spring training. He put his agenda above the desire and the agenda of the team. A lot of men do that today. How I feel is more important than what you do or how you feel. I don't care. Even though you made a commitment to God. Let me tell you. In baseball, there's also another phrase. It's called the sacrifice fly. That's when the player goes up and he does not care about his stats. He does not care about anything else except the advancement of the team. Gentlemen, God's asking you to do that sacrifice fly. I promise you, I don't know a lady in this house that if she sees nails in your hand, that she would not be willing to submit to. It's all because if you're willing to sacrifice your life for hers, just like Christ did for you, then I promise you, her following your leadership will be that much easier. Gentlemen, I know they don't teach us this. I know we don't know this, but then go get some nutrients. Bring something to the table to help you get better. That's all I'm asking you to do. Bring something. Go get some help. Don't say, I'm going to do better. Go get some help, some skills to help you get better. Why? Here's why. Because God demands it. Here's why. Because your kids desperately need it to see a model so that it's easier for them than it is for us. Father, will you help us as a church?